This is tutorial 1, the original circuit. We have the dark blue ground. To start off, we have the white jumper cable connected to port 13. Then we have the 100 ohm resistor to prevent the circuit from short circuiting. And last off, we have the actual blinking LED right here. This is the code for tutorial 1. To start off with, we set the output to pin 13. Then we move on to the loop that makes the LED flash, starting off with turning the voltage on pin 13 to high, turning on our LED, then delaying for a second to keep the LED on. Then we set the voltage on pin 13 down to low. That turns off our LED. Then we delay for another second, and our code repeats in this loop forever until we tell it to stop. This is the modified version of tutorial 1. The code makes the LEDs run from red, yellow, blue, green, and then bounce back up from green to blue to yellow to red, and repeat this. We have the brown ground that is running into the negative side of the board, and we have color-coded cables that connect to each of the corresponding LEDs that are all connected up to a 100 ohm resistor. And with these cables, they run into a corresponding port, such as green runs into pin 13, blue is in pin 12, yellow is in pin 11, and red is in pin 10. This is the modified version of tutorial 1's code. To start off with, we set each of the 4 LEDs to a corresponding pin. Then moving into the setup, we initialize the serial monitor. Moving further down, we set each of the LEDs to an input, and then each of the pins to an output. Moving into the loop of the code, we set up each LED so that it can be read as an input inside of the loop. Moving into this, we start off with setting a pin to high, which turns on an LED. Whatever corresponding LED that it is, reads that LED in this line, setting it to the serial monitor, delaying for half a second to keep the LED on, turning the LED off by setting it to low, and then reading the state of the LED again. This 5 lines of code is just copied throughout the rest of the code. Each of these is the same, except for small alterations to change which LED is being lit up and turned back off. This is the schematics for both the original tutorial 1 and then the modified version of tutorial 1. The original is just a battery hooked up to a resistor that runs through an LED. The modified is a parallel circuit with 4 resistors, 4 LEDs, all hooked up to 1 battery. This is the virtual breadboard for the original tutorial 1. Start off, we have the black ground cable running into the Arduino. We have the white cable running into port 13 and then into the breadboard. We have a 100 ohm resistor along with our LED. This is the modified version of tutorial 1's virtual breadboard. First off, we have the black ground cable running into the ground on the Arduino board. We have our 4 LEDs, each color-coded, red, yellow, blue, and green, along with each LED running into a 100 ohm resistor and color coordinated cables running out the back of these into their own respective ports. Red running into port 10, yellow running into port 11, blue running into port 12, and green running into port 13.